how much behind the scenes? We're live.
Yay!
All right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, and I am joined once again by Jedi Jason Kruger. And we've got quite the week in wrestling to discuss this week. Got an old favorite that's up there on the wall, re-signing with WWE. We have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Let's get right to it. If you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. Jedi and I have been watching wrestling together for over 15 years. We love wrestling. We love sharing our love of pro wrestling with other passionate pro wrestling fans. However, we're fans. We're not insiders. We're not experts. We're fans just like each and every one of you. Our opinions carry no more weight than that of any two other passionate wrestling fans out there. We try to avoid insider terms because we're not insiders. We're not experts. We're not wrestlers. And at the end of the day, we are just two marks. So, I guess we'll just go ahead and start with the signing. Apparently, Johnny, Mundo, Morrison, Nitro, Impact, John Hennigan for the former Tough Enough winner.
Yep.
Former Intercontinental and Tag Team and ECW champion, WWE ECW champion, has apparently re-signed with the WWE, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it just now.
Depends on if he goes to the Wednesday night brand.
That would be awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that would be awesome. I mean, like,
otherwise he gonna be lost in the shuffle, just like half the other people on there.
Yeah, I am excited at the prospect of maybe getting the dream match of AJ versus Morrison. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they ever did it on the independent scene when.
I don't know.
But I don't know if they ever did anything like that. But we.
Speaking of dream matches with Morrison.
See you, Ray. Yes, Johnny Mundo is great. I do enjoy Johnny Mundo. But I don't know. I want to see that match. Hopefully, they have some story behind it and don't just bill it as the dream match, because that's a surefire way to disappoint people.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna.
But it is.
He is a good athlete.
He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
And he proved on Lucha Underground and on Impact that he's main event material. Yeah. Whether or not...
Back when he was in WWE mid-level run, I was a big fan of his.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I modeled a lot of my backyarding off of his stuff.
Right.
Tried.
Tried. And then on top of that, we could... It opens the door to... I want it to happen. I want it to be good. I don't see him becoming world champion. He could. He could. If he could get that Kofi fire.
Right.
But
it's not as likely as it was with every other promotion.
Right. But the former host of this, show, Nick, he's pretty excited. He's pumped up about the prospect of Morrison versus everybody else, but. That just kind of goes to he's more optimistic about WWE than we are, because he sees, look at all these great matches and he can go to NXT and this, that, and the other. What I'm seeing is, he could end up like EC3, Robert Roode, Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for me to get pumped up about that. So, I don't know. I hope it turns out well for him. I hope, he's used his potential. I hope now that, even though WWE, when he left, was kind of going in that direction, kind of getting more of the more athletic guys. Mm-hmm. It is still the same company, but now that he's there, and it's kind of not unheard of for guys like AJ, like Daniel Bryan, like Seth Rollins, to may not necessarily always get the fair chance to, not necessarily be the face of the company, but at least could get a featured spot every now and again. I hope it works out well for Morrison, Mundo, Nitro, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's not like EC3 walking to the ring looking like his soul has just left his body.
Right.
And I wonder if he's going to feud with R-Truth over the 24/7 title, because they had something behind their program back in 2011. But yeah, so anything you'd like to add on Mr. Morrison?
No, it's a wait and see situation.
Right on.
I don't have much to say on it.
All right, well, let's get into Raw. First of all, I want to point out I liked on Raw how they did the then now forever opening with like the Fiend kind of breaking in. I thought that was really well done. I love that. It makes the Fiend seem like he's a lot more of a threat.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like him kind of interrupting all these innocent parts of Raw makes it kind of, you always have that fear that the Fiend is looming. I feel like that's very well done.
Right.
So I like that part.
And we already showed a while back in Firefly Funhouse, Vince isn't going to stop him because he's giving him money.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, It's
yeah.
like, yeah, I can do whatever I want now, because just in case,
Right.
Cover all bases.
Yeah. This is a rare time where they're covering all the bases.
Right.
I like it.
I think we've got to give Wyatt credit for that. From what I hear, he's still the driving force behind
Well, good for him.
those segments or whatever, I mean.
It's just a matter of how long they're going to continue to let him
Either
do
that
this.
or the writing team isn't being rewritten like apparently they are on everything else.
Right.
Something. There's a focus there and it's not being
Right.
changed every 5 minutes. So, yeah, please keep that up. Let's
Please.
do more of that, Just ask Paul Levesque. He might be able to give you a few pointers on how to actually plan ahead.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
See.
I'm
We'll
an
see how
AEW
Wednesday
fan.
goes.
I might get, by saying that Paul Levesque is good at anything, I might get in some circles, get my AEW fan card
Oh
revoked.
my. Yeah, well, it's all good. Let's see. Basically, Rollins came out saying he could beat the Fiend because he beat Lesnar. He beat Strowman. Why couldn't he beat the Fiend? And then Strowman said, I want a rematch. I mean, I'm giving you the...
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I want my rematch. Do it Dave style.
So they set that up for later in the night. The Viking Raiders actually got to fight someone who wasn't your local
Tag team.
Yeah.
Yep.
They beat the OC.
Woo!
So.
Awesome. That's fun. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Except for it's more of the OC just looking like complete dog shit.
I mean, it wasn't like they got squashed by him. I mean, it was
No,
back and
but
forth.
it is kind of
Yeah.
what I dreamed of being, a nice
yeah,
dominant run a la New Japan's turned into.
Right. Like a top level stable. This is not mid-level stable. Becky Lynch is excited to fight Sasha Banks, essentially. She had a backstage thing. It was good. EC3 appeared out of nowhere, along with Rusev, who still basically appeared out of nowhere after last week. Nobody seems to know for sure whether he's the father of Maria's child or not. They kind of seem like they were saying, no, that's not a thing. I don't know if they dropped that. I don't know if they rewrote that. Who knows what happened there. All we know is that Rusev can at least still beat EC3, because... EC3
Poor EC3. I mean, and I am a Rusev fan, but I guess they want to go back to the original dominant, no nonsense Rusev, but again,
You telling me Zack Ryder wasn't available?
yeah, exactly. But it's one of those it's cool they're maybe making Rusev a little bit more serious, but he was pretty hot with Rusev Day, and then they just squandered that.
I know.
Again, do you want to, to anybody taking, Nick's side on, and I'm not knocking it, but do you see why maybe that's not something we're so excited about?
Right. Take everything with a grain of salt there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's go to something good, though. Carmella won the 24/7 championship.
It was only a matter of time.
I
You
know.
knew it.
I like how he so readily accepted it. She's like, all right. I kind of like how we flipped the dynamic now. Now it's all of the women's undercard chasing after him every week.
Yeah.
I started looking, I was like, look at all the underutilized talent.
Maybe Asuka could win it, and I don't know.
No. I don't even want her chasing after it.
Win it, and then like she have the Elias run with it, where she gets to hold on to it for a little while.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, maybe.
Because they weren't ready for Asuka as champion.
Right. It's good for the pun, if nothing else.
You can have that one, WWE.
Nikki
You
Cross,
can have that one.
Nikki Cross fought Sasha Banks, and she almost won, but Banks came out on top, and then she tapped out Bliss too because she's nasty like that, and Bliss is kind of a good guy. Bliss is the weirdest good guy.
I think she's just less shitty than Sasha Banks right now.
Yeah. Bliss is the de facto. It's almost like because she's right now friends with Nikki, she's de facto a good guy, even though
it's
nothing
like
nice about her.
when in X-Men Age of Apocalypse, when Magneto was fighting alongside the X-Men. Magneto's not good.
True.
But
yeah.
Fucking Apocalypse.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that works for me. Yep. Oh, yeah, now it's my turn to be all upset. Ember Moon lost to Lacey Evans. That's what
Fuck Lacey Evans! She sucks!
I literally was listening to a thing that was recapping it and heard that and just made this audible noise, and someone else in the break room was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm just dying of disappointment over here."
I'm good.
I don't have anything else to say on that, except look for Ember Moon to be running after the 24/7 championship pretty soon.
Yeah, Daniel, you're right about that. You know where I'd really like to see Ember Moon go now?
Yeah, right?
No have Athena come back and just go to AEW. I mean,
Asuka needs to go with her.
Yes. No, featuring Joshi's? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. We could have Asuka versus Nyla Rose instead of Riho. Or Asuka versus Riho. Why not?
Yeah. But it's just
not a knock on Nyla Rose, but I imagine Riho and Asuka would beat the
a better
crap
match
out of each other. Yeah.
It'd be a better match. And I'm not trying to knock Nyla Rose either, but
they both have more years of training experience, and they worked in Japan. I don't think Nyla has.
No.
But I'm not sure
either.
It'd be an idea. I mean,
yeah.
Everybody could use a run in Japan if they take it seriously enough.
Right. But it's just so disappointing that Ember Moon, who, I mean, she's just another latest victim of the NXT curse, almost.
I know.
And for her to lose the way she did, just kind of like, they see something in Lacey Evans who is not good. Great character. The character is a 10 out of 10. The wrestling is a 2 out of 10. Maybe 3 with the right opponent.
Right.
And they're just completely... For all the talk of the women's revolution, the women are main event WrestleMania, and the women are doing the... you still have garbage in the ring. And I'm not saying that maybe she couldn't have improved if she could have spent as much time in NXT as Ember Moon did. Or Bayley. She
also essentially started in the WWE system practically.
Yeah, she didn't like wrestling. She admits she didn't like wrestling before this. So of course she's not. Yeah. I'm not saying she's not passionate. I'm not saying she's not into it now. Right. But she admits she's not a wrestling fan.
She started out in the Marines. I mean, when does she have time to?
Yeah, but it's just like she sucks. She's again. I
need a lot more time. I mean, Ember Moon had years on the indie scene too.
Yeah. But, it's...
Not everybody's Kurt Angle.
No. No matter how much the WWE claims that it's a women's revolution and this, that, and the other, we're never going to see WWE be completely shimmer.
No.
Because we still have things like that getting used better than others. We got some people in the.
We'll see how AEW fares with their women's division. I mean, so far the jury's.
Yeah, that's why she's a good character, Daniel. I agree with that. She is the antithesis of the women's revolution. The downside is, even if you want to have the antithesis character, you should still be able to back it up in the ring a lot better than she is. For example, I'll go Sweet and Sour Incorporated in Ring of Honor was supposed to be the antithesis of Ring of Honor. They wanted to make money, and then eventually when they bled ROH for enough money, Larry Sweeney was going to sell all their contracts to Vince McMahon. That was the whole point of Sweet and Sour Incorporated. Yeah.
I did neglect to mention the neck.
Yeah. So, the whole point of Sweet and Sour Incorporated, Larry Sweeney, and all the people in it was they were the antithesis of what Ring of Honor is supposed to be about, which is the love of wrestling, the honor of the sport, and this, that, and the other. But still, the stable itself, with the exception of a few bells and whistles, Tank Tolan, was there just to kind of be part of the Dog and Pony Show. But the people that actually wrestled in Sweet and Sour Incorporated were Chris Hero, he could back it up. Davey Richards, he could back it up. Adam Pearce, he could back it up. They were all capable wrestlers that were still very good in the ring to at least not make what that product was about go, oh, okay, not completely turn them off.
Yeah, I
Lacey
know.
Evans
Lacey
is
the female Elias, all the character. The real.
And you know what? And that's fine. You need to have characters. I'm not saying that's a bad thing for Lacey to have character. But when you go in there and you have a not very good match with Ember Moon, when you have a not very good match with Becky Lynch,
right?
When everybody you've been in the when you're literally wrestling some of the best women wrestlers in the world, and the best they can get out of you is fucking okay.
Yeah.
Then that means there's something fucking wrong. That means you're not that fucking good, and you either need to A, go back to NXT, go back to Full Sail, and find out what the fuck you need to fucking do to not be that way, or B, you need to get your fucking walking papers because wrestling is not for you, or C, you need to be a manager, you need to stand on the outside and look pretty, and that's about it. You have no goddamn business being in that fucking ring, taking the spot away from people who are good. If you're going to do this, if you're going to promote that this is a new beginning for fucking women's wrestling. If this were 2008 right now, I wouldn't have a problem with this.
Holy crap, if this was 2008, she'd be one of the top tier performers.
Yeah. If this were 2008, 2010, 2012, sure. Don't fucking preach at me that this is the women's revolution and you have that.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, everything else is going well. But that needs to be back at Full Sail, not in prime time.
Right. I just don't understand why they don't ever try to use Dana Brooke for anything. She's not.
Yeah, you're right, Daniel. That makes Ember.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's
why I'm complaining about it. I said just expect her to be going for the 24/7 title.
I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt and not be, like I said, I try not to pull out the I'm going to be an elitist dick card very often. This is going to be one where I'm going to pull out the elitist dick card. I'm against gatekeeping. I'm against, Lacey Evans is a better wrestler than me. I'll give her that credit. But this is where I'm going to pull out my chance to be an asshole as a fan.
If you're working in the top wrestling promotion in the world, you should theoretically be one of the top wrestlers in the world.
Yes.
And that is not the case in this case.
No, not at all.
So, yeah. Yeah, great character, but you got to have that skill to back it up. Otherwise, it falls flat. Becky versus Lacey would have been great.
And you know what? And when they first teased that, I actually said, okay, this is a good idea. Because you have the man versus the lady.
The story
it's
was
great.
Right there. The story was there.
But when you have Becky, who became the top wrestler in the world, when she's just kind of getting with you, that should be a fucking red flag. Now, if after that whole program, they would have sent Lacey back down to NXT, or had her scale back and do something, you know, keep her on TV, you know, as in some kind of role to make sure she's on everybody's mind, then put her back on NXT to freshen her up. Okay. But now, other talented women who are not getting used are fodder for her.
Yeah. Or chasing Carmella. Or both.
Turn out to be something like, yep, you're right, Daniel. You are absolutely right.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt being awesome as usual in the Firefly Funhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, if you haven't seen that, go out of your way to see that. I'm not going to give you a blow-by-blow. There is something really creepy about the way he just says see you in hell with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Chad Gable tried to fight Baron Corbin again. That dastardly Baron Corbin. He has a scepter, so he beat him up with a scepter because he can't hang. Because Chad Gable was fired.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Corbin
being Corbin. And
yeah.
Gable being awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Chad. I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping Chad Gable gets something out of this.
I mean, not to jump ahead too far, but he got time on both Raw and SmackDown this week, so that's something.
Yeah.
Of course, we could also say that about someone else we'll mention on SmackDown at least. It's giving TV time, but debatable. But we'll get there when we get there. Fatal 5-Way for the number one contender, because I guess they want to go ahead and know who's going to fight next after Bray. Or is this...
Oh, it's before Bray.
It's before. Oh, it's for their next week, isn't it?
Yep.
Right. Got it. All right.
It is a crime Asuka's not used
I
better.
gotcha.
The crime Asuka and Ember, the two...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Kairi, she could be bound in NXT, feuding with the evil Io Shirai or something. I mean, yeah, something. Anyway, so interesting choices they had in this 5-way is Shinsuke Nakamura, Robert Roode, AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, and Ricochet. And it was an elimination match. Ricochet actually got taken out first by Nakamura. And then Nakamura got taken out by AJ. Poor Nakamura. Just can't get one over on AJ.
They kicked him in the dick for a year.
Right. Oh man, can you imagine if they both still have those belts come Survivor Series? It's going to be those two again. No.
I'm okay with it.
I guess. Well, maybe. Yeah. It'd be weird. 'Cause it'd be villain versus villain. That worked so good with Miz and Corbin 2 years ago.
Yeah, but
Weird. Corbin
you have
villain.
you have significantly more talented guys.
It's true. It's true.
They could, if that were to happen. Now, again, I'm setting myself up for disappointment. If that were to happen, it would be they could have that match like a G1 Climax match where it could be villain versus, like in the G1 Climax where it could be villain versus villain, just kind of, just have your match. You know?
Right.
So, I actually feel like it'd be a better match this time around.
Might be because they're both that vicious edge NXT. Yeah, it might be. All right, yeah, you convinced me.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know Ray's not winning that belt, but
and then Rude of all people took out Styles, and so it came down to Rude and Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio won, which was a little surprising.
I think Seth versus Rey is going to be a great match. I don't like. I get the fact that the Fiend is supposed to be scary, and I get the fact that he's supposed to instill fear. The problem is, and I get that even, the champion is shook by... It's okay to make the champion shook by the Fiend. When you have him...
shook by Undertaker at one point?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But when you have him, literally cowering in fear...
Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah.
It's bad. It makes your champion look awful.
I don't remember him looking anything other than concerned or nervous. Like he wasn't breaking down and weeping,
He's like... like that makes your champion look kind of like a wuss. You know, I understand, kind of looking concerned, scared, like maybe kind of, I'm going to take this on, but, you're nervous.
Right.
I want to say it was last Sunday, I believe, was the 23-year anniversary of Shawn Michaels and Mick Foley at Mind Games.
Mm.
And because of that, I went back and rewatched that match and the feud leading up to it. And it was like, obviously, Mankind was not quite as scary as what the Fiend is now, but for the time,
he was
very much
a deranged psychopath.
Yeah. The deranged psychopath Mankind versus
the Undertaker.
Who beat the Undertaker the month before in the Boiler Room Brawl. Getting to fight the Spiry, pretty boy young hero world's champion. And he was constantly getting the drop on Michaels, constantly getting the mandible claw in on Shawn Michaels. And Michaels was nervous about wrestling Mankind. But Michaels wasn't cowering.
Right.
In fact, Michaels was nervous, but throughout the course of the match, it helped Shawn Michaels develop the more aggressive style, because he had to, which is why both Shawn and Mick held that match in such high regard. That's the right way to do that program. Yeah. I want to say it's the wrong way because, again, at least the Fiend is looking good. But on the flip side, you kind of...
At least
what if that man was like crying around the Joker or that scared around the Joker? No, that's terrible.
At least the only kind of... I don't know. I got nothing for you there. I guess
they're softening up AJ for possibly. I think the Cedric Alexander feud is going to continue with AJ. So
yeah,
that's kind of my one dilemma with this whole thing is I want the Fiend to become the champion, but I also feel like AJ should get that belt soon as well, or at least.
I'm just a little flabbergasted that he's going for the belt this soon.
The Fiend?
Yeah.
I mean, I have no faith in the WWE, but kind of one of those, fucking, it's going to happen, get it now.
Get it now.
Don't let it be SummerSlam next year where you're like, remember when he lost to Ricochet and he got his nuts chopped from under him, and then Roman Reigns took him out too, and then on top of that, Daniel Bryan got one over on him, and then now he's got the title. So, kind of, if it's going to happen, let it happen now, because now it's the best thing in the company.
Right. Doubling back to Rollins for a second, the only semi-saving grace he's got is that he basically has just come off 2 pay-per-views where he defeated Lesnar and Strowman.
You're exactly right, Daniel.
Where he defeated Lesnar and Strowman in fairly dominating fashion, all things considered, really.
Right.
Especially considering he's been thrown around like a ragdoll half the match, he still came across as, wow, this guy's a badass,
Yeah. I can understand him looking concerned and him kind of being like, oh shit, this guy's on a completely, this guy's whacked. Yeah. This guy's on some kind of completely different level, and he's gonna come at me with something that's not of this world.
Right. He's not.
You should be concerned and maybe a little nervous. You should not be cowering like a wuss.
Right.
Let the legends that will not be hurt by this cower. Let the commentators cower. Let referees cower. Let the all the former wrestlers that wear polo shirts and break up fights. Cower.
Yeah.
Let Dean Malenko and Adam Pearce do that.
I want to see a terrified Finlay. Is he still with them?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
He is. Anyway,
I said Dean Malenko, but he's not there no more.
Right. Yeah. Remember, it's Finlay's fault that Becky Lynch won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. An Irish conspiracy.
Yeah. So the main event was Rollins.
I wish that Finlay would wrestle again. He still put on a good match, possibly. See what I did there?
What's that?
Irish. That's.
Oh my.
Thank you.
Goodness.
Ready to go to SmackDown?
Yeah, because Rollins fought Strowman. The Fiend attacked Strowman and basically scared Seth.
And Rollins was a bitch.
The end. Yep. The end. The last SmackDown on Tuesday nights on USA.
Which is going to throw a big monkey wrench into our plans.
Yeah.
So, from what we discussed this before the show, what we are probably going to do is we're still going to have the show on Thursdays. We might be able to, because it's kind of too hard for us to get together on Fridays to do it live. We'll just start the week off with
SmackDown.
The
day after our show, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, the SmackDown from the week before.
Yeah.
So.
And as far as predictions are concerned, well, we'll just we might
we'll either have to wing it or we'll
have to wing it, or we'll post addendum videos that aren't live.
Yeah. May just have to do the video and then jump back into the video and comment on any updates, oh, wow, they added this.
Yeah, or we'll figure it out, but,
obviously it's not like they haven't added matches on the Saturday before the pay-per-view anyway, after we already...
So we might just kind of have to make an ass out of you and me and assume things.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, WWE and Fox.
Oh, congratulations, Daniel.
Ooh.
Congratulations, bud. Glad you could make the show after something like that.
Well, I'm pretty sure he didn't actually have the birth.
But he's not busy with the new little one. So congratulations, man.
They sleep a little bit here and there.
You're spending your free time. You're spending your free time with us, so we really do appreciate that. Sincerely.
Probably sitting there with the headphone jacks and everything in the dark room, just cautiously watching. Don't wake up, man. I've been there. It hadn't been that long ago. I remember. Anyway, so we start off with Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. And that dastardly Rowan, he won because Luke Harper helped with the distraction.
Yeah, kind of.
So, Rowan...
It was a good match.
Yeah. And that set up Roman to come down and save him, and now they're going to have a tag match at Hell in a Cell with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. I about said Bryan Daniels.
Yeah.
There. Daniel Bryan versus Rowan and Harper, the Bludgeon Brothers.
Are they the Bludgeon?
No, we don't call them that anymore.
I wonder. Well, we'll talk about it next week. We'll get into all of that next week on the prediction show.
Yeah, good grief, that's coming up next.
And that's all next week. We're not going to be able to even know who the WWE champion is because it's going to be.
We'll just have to make a
double prediction.
Double prediction there.
Yeah.
How exciting! All right, so I'm predicting Ray is not winning this coming Monday.
No, I'm talking about that. But Kofi's wrestling Lesnar next Friday.
I know. No, but it just occurred to me. There's going to be on Raw. There's going to be a championship match as well, and Ray is not going to win. Although it would be really weird if he won and then the Fiend killed him.
We'll get to that next week, Daniel. But me and you might be on the same wavelength there.
All right. So Kofi, let's see. Is that what they started with? Yeah. Kofi basically did an interview, and he was like, I'm not afraid of Brock Lesnar. I'm going to beat Brock Lesnar. Good luck with that, Kofi.
Yeah.
Chad Gable on both shows.
I do want to point out that if Lesnar half-ass gives a shit in this match, we could be looking at another great match. Like it's similar to his Bryan and his...
if nothing
else... His AJ matches, and to a lesser extent his Seth matches. If Lesnar half-ass gives two fucks, this might be good.
His best matches in recent years is AJ, Seth,
Bryan,
and Finn.
And Finn, I forgot about Finn. Except for the finish.
Rumble, yeah.
Except for the finish.
Well,
I was more pissed off about the finish.
That's fair. So Gable is on both shows, and I mentioned getting TV time is a good thing, but maybe
he's
not,
wrestling
because
Mike
Kanellis, the other guy who at least is getting TV time.
Again,
So-
I'm not going to comment like...
Take a wild guess who won that match.
At least Chad Gable wants, but it's just I'm not gonna dignify that stupidity even more with any more of the time on my show. Let's move on.
Fair enough.
Yay, Chad Gable, and that's to be about the end of it.
The evil Boston Hug connection fought Charlotte Flair and Carmella. They suspended the 24/7 rule, but Carmella got tapped out, and then immediately, basically, Truth took her and booked it as the entire women's undercard chased them off. And then, at some point, Becky came out and attacked both of them, and they ran away. Basically.
Becky should win the 24/7 title just so we can get another week or two of Becky 2 belts. She can be the champ again.
So that's about all I really got to say on that. There's still, it's essentially the 4 horsewomen.
Which is cool.
That's essentially your card right now. Although they are still kind of keeping the women's tag team thing alive right now, which is more than they were doing when the Iconics ever held it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
Because they were the best team for that.
I know. They just dropped the ball completely. And now that, I'm not saying, but I am saying, now that Alexa has the belt, all of a sudden they're doing things with it. Yeah, I know you play favorites over there. Nakamura fought Ali, and Nakamura won because of Sami Zayn. And I think I might come to the TV and choke that guy because he's doing that good of a job.
Yep.
I was about to kill him at Clash of Champions.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to have to mute my dang TV. Thankfully, they cut the mic, but
yeah,
I couldn't even.
You just couldn't.
So, good job.
Good job, yeah. See, this is what we call. This is the right kind of reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not turning the channel.
I still want
I'm just reiterating all the people. I'm reiterating to all the people that always like to say, with certain other people, like, oh, well, you're not liking it, so therefore he's doing his job.
Right.
Like in regards to a certain Ring of Honor champion named after the worst Mortal Kombat character ever. Oh, got the reaction, huh? Yeah, you're mad about it. That means he's good. No, it's not, because I don't watch Ring of Honor.
I was gonna say we're not mad that Lacey beat Ember because Lacey's the villain.
No. So that's it. But before all of you who think that that you're getting one over on us,
right.
No. If we're not watching, then it's not good.
New Day beat the B team because they could. Not much else to say on that.
Yep.
The New Day wanted some TV time and they got it. Like I was saying a few minutes ago, at least they're kind of keeping the tag team story thing going.
Right.
Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville fought Asuka and Kairi Sane, and the Kabuki Warriors picked up the victory.
Whoop.
So, yeah, at least
Good.
they're not just losing all the time, so that's something.
And the big match is set for next week.
And,
it's almost going to be like a pay-per-view next week for SmackDown.
as it should be.
For something like that, it should be.
Yeah. Also, hopefully, because it's such a big deal, like you said, Lesnar will bring his A game, or at least his B game, not his coasting game.
At least give us Lesnar and Finn, not Lesnar and Ambrose.
Yes.
And definitely stay away from Lesnar and Strowman. Or Lesnar and Roman.
Yeah, both of those were bad. Joe really wasn't that good in the ring.
Yeah, Joe
unfortunately.
Joe was terrible.
The build-up was amazing.
Yeah,
the
match was garbage.
Bad. Yeah, Strowman was worse, and the Roman matches were just a car crash.
Hey, Kel, how you doing today, bud?
So basically,
no, the worst Mortal Kombat character's name is just Taven. So that's why. Yeah.
So basically, Shane and Owens decided they were gonna have a ladder match, and whoever loses leaves the company.
Yeah. That's fine. Now, this could go one of two ways. I could honestly see Kevin Owens losing, and then putting him on NXT to give it as like a
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
like a temporary measure to make sure that hey, we have more star power on our new show.
Right.
Or I could see this finally just being the end of Shane on TV, and this thing this thing finally reaches a logical climax and conclusion, which would be nice. Thanks for coming, go Kel. So yeah.
Ginger Leo Rush. Really?
Oh well,
All right.
And
well,
NXT will
I'm not used to.
Breeze through.
Not used to. NXT as a primetime thing that we'll be talking about going forward, but it's totally going to be. I mean,
it's
they're
there
going to
now.
have to. Yep. All right. So what we got? I didn't. Yeah, yesterday was busy. I didn't even. Ooh.
Keith Lee,
How was that?
That was a good match. I enjoyed Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic. Not Dominic Dickhead, as Kenny Omega said on Being the Elite this week. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was, kind of what you would expect, but in a good way. If that makes sense.
Right. Well, didn't they have a match that went to a no contest once before, and it was.
I'm not sure.
I think they did. It was like several months back, before one of them got injured or something. Anyway, Street Profits. Oh, they're fighting the.
Yeah, they're fighting the Undisputed Era, so.
Gotcha. And they're going to win, they said.
The Dakota Kai match wasn't much.
Tanara Conti still isn't.
No.
Yeah.
And.
Matt Riddle defeated Killian Dane via submission in a street fight, become the number one contender for the NXT Championship. Good for him.
Good for him. I'm still.
You said that about Owens, and I thought that'd be a pretty good foil for Adam Cole.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm still my. If you watched the show last week,
Yeah.
My opinions on it was a good match, but my opinion on
doesn't change.
Yeah, it's and if he wins, I'm not. I don't get it. I don't get what the big deal is.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I just, I'm not saying he's bad. I just don't get what the big fucking deal is with Matt Riddle.
The foot fetish.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't think he should go away. I don't want to say this out loud because, it became the basis of a blood feud in AEW. Riddle is a good hand. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe even a little better than a good hand. He
Right.
he could have a good match with Adam Cole, but if he wins, I don't buy him as this
Yeah.
I just
that would be. Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get the bro. He's bro, and then
Right.
he's this submission guy. And I'm not saying that. I respect the fact that it's a different take on the badass MMA guy. That it's not. He's not going in there like a Lesnar or like a Ken Shamrock or Minoru Suzuki or something like that. I respect the fact that it's a different take on the Dangerous Man character. There's just something about it that's not clicking with me.
I haven't seen some of his recent stuff. I know for a while there, it was like every time he was getting frustrated, he was starting to go almost dark side levels of nasty. But I don't know if they followed up with that. I haven't been watching that consistently. Shame on me. Rhea Ripley defeated someone, Caden Carter.
See, I didn't watch anything after this,
okay.
so I kind of.
Well, Rhea Ripley, the former NXT Women's Champion, she's on NXT now, which makes sense.
NXT Women's Champions on NXT now.
The former NXT UK Women's Champion.
There you go.
Sorry. The inaugural one at that.
Yeah.
Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch defeated Everrise. I'm
Okay.
not familiar with Everrise. Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green.
Woo! I guess I should have watched that. Chelsea Green. Fuck yeah.
They were shown hanging out in the front row.
Okay, cool.
Apparently Green was injured in April, and she's getting ready to return to the ring.
Deanna Purrazzo, I met both these ladies. They're both really, really nice people. So
Cameron Grimes defeats Raul
Mendoza. Okay. Well, I might check that out.
Oh, Kushida and Breezango defeat the Imperium.
Why?
Hold on. I bet Walter wasn't in it. Aren't there four?
No, of course, but like they did such a good job making those guys seem like a force to be reckoned with, and someone like I didn't know who they were. This is part of the show that I praised last week was I didn't know who the Imperium were. I don't watch NXT UK. I'm sure I know it's a great show. I've heard everybody praise it, but there's only 24 hours in a day. I didn't know who these guys were, but yet I understood that they were somebody I should care about in that second. And now you've basically just said, yep, nope.
It's alright. Kushida got a fluke roll up and then basically ran away.
No, that's not okay. That is not, but the whole point of them is this ring is sacred, no one can out-wrestle us. Then you don't lose, if they're good fucking technicians and on-the-mat wrestlers like Europeans are supposed to be, then Kushida, a flying wrestler, should now have rolled one of them up. That's terrible. I mean, I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I didn't actually watch it, so,
Makes you feel any better? Walter murdered him afterwards.
Well, it So the Imperium. So to me, the impression that I get from this is the Imperium is nothing. The Imperium can just be beaten like that. Don't be afraid of them. Be afraid of Walter, but the rest of them, fuck those guys. They suck.
I mean, I saw a picture of them all standing there, and I thought, well, maybe. I mean, Walter's there. That was my first impression.
So instead of me thinking that this is the next big stud, fearful stable. You know, something that could maybe even go into a War Games one day with Undisputed Era. Force Undisputed Era to turn hero. You know, similar to Generation Next in the Embassy and Ring of Honor, you know, where you got to turn one of them. That's gone now. I don't think that way at all. Well, I don't think the Imperium's anybody to be afraid of. From a story perspective, two shtick guys and a flying wrestler were able to out-wrestle them and beat them with a roll-up. So it's Walter and his three henchmen. Literally. Like, there's no reason to be afraid of anybody but Walter.
Yeah.
That's you know, I gave him a lot of praise last week. I'm going to shit on him this week, and yeah. And I'll let AEW have it if they do something stupid, too.
We'll get ready. The 2-hour show, there's going to be some.
Yeah. Maybe I have to start the show early. Maybe we have to start the show early from now on with all the wrestling we'll have to cover. Good Lord. So,
yep. Quicker.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well.
That was the week in wrestling. Do you want a quick preview of what they're saying is going to be on AEW this coming Wednesday? Or are we good?
Well, yeah, we'll do a quick. We'll do a preview.
Quick bullet point.
Well, we got Cody versus Sammy Guevara.
Yep.
That should be cool.
The AEW Women's Championship match, Nyla versus Riho.
Well, you want to just do predictions?
Sure.
We'll just do predictions. Okay, let's just do predictions real quick. We'll spur of the moment, little unexpected treat for you guys that are sticking with us.
The bonus. Well, I don't know about you, but first match on here, Cody versus Sammy. I see Cody
winning. I mean, Cody's even said if he loses, he's going to take himself out of the championship match. Sammy Guevara is good. He's not ready for a championship match yet. But this could do for Sammy Guevara what the match with Darby Allin did for him. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going Cody in that one.
AEW Women's Championship, Nyla Rose versus Riho.
I'm going Nyla Rose. There's no way to really get into why I feel it is without coming across in a way that I don't intend to come across, but it could be construed that way. I feel that they have a good intention in mind with Nyla Rose, and by making her the first women's champion, that's gonna it's going to mean a lot to a lot of people, and that's fine. And I'm totally okay with. I'm okay with their heart being in that place. However, from a wrestling perspective, Rio's so much better. There's more talented women on that roster than Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose becoming champion in a year, cool. I don't think she should become the champion now, but I feel like this is gonna be. They kind of have this is gonna be bigger than wrestling sort of mentality with Nyla Rose.
Even from a card and character perspective, if you will, Riho, whilst I find her adorable and all that, I mean, she hasn't had that big of a chance to establish herself. I don't know.
I feel like
out of the two
characters,
I feel like Nyla's that monster that can take it, and then you have people start coming after her. I feel like with Riho, maybe not at first.
My problem with all of this is there are much more talented and established women on that roster that aren't Britt Baker, Allie, Awesome Kong.
Britt Baker was
all of them. All of them should have been in this position, or should have been in that position over Nyla. But again, they're really they're trying to do something special, and they're trying to do something that's going to be special to a lot of people.
Right.
So therefore, it's just kind of one of those,
But if you for some reason took all that out of the equation,
if you took all that,
these two against each other, I still wouldn't bet on Riho in this particular scenario.
Well, if we took all of that out of the equation, then there's no reason that not.
I'm aware.
I mean, I get they're trying to use her. I just feel that.
Yeah.
I feel like she's still. She's not as bad as. She's not even bad. She's not like Lacey Evans, where she shouldn't even be on my TV. She just shouldn't be the champion yet.
Yeah.
She.
Right. Better than Nia.
Yeah, she's a lot better than Nia Jax. But just imagine, Kong being in this position, and then you build up to Nyla after having a year under her belt of getting better, and then you put her up against Kong.
Right.
That's money.
I get the feeling the reason they're not doing that is because Kong's not going to be a very full-time... I know she's there, but...
Right.
Kind of get that feeling. Anyway, that's me speculating. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Chris Jericho and 2 mystery partners.
Get that shine yet unless Cody's going to do him a favor. Cody has no business losing to Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is not... No, he's not worthy of the win yet. He can look good, but if Sammy Guevara beats Cody, that's stupid. That is dumb. That is dumb writing going into a world's title match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just that is some WWE level of stupidity right there.
Mm-hmm. Kenny and the Young Bucks versus Chris Jericho and 2 mystery partners?
Well, who do you think the 2 mystery partners are going to be?
Shoot. I don't know. To be honest with you, you kind of hope it would be someone that people recognize.
I think it's going to be LAX, or whatever they're going to call them now. They made their debut at All Out. And I believe they will beat...
Ooh.
I believe they will beat the Elite in this one. Because I feel like watching being the Elite, Kenny's on his downward spiral.
You're right. And you can't have the world champion even in a tag. Not this soon. Lose.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
I feel like maybe one of the Bucks should eat the pin.
No, it should be Kenny because he's on this downward spiral.
Well, that makes somebody else we know not very happy.
Yeah, because he's kind
of
right now.
I don't necessarily want to say it taints it. It just kind of, in that sense, I'm happy that it's going to make a lot of people happy, and I'm glad.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, if the match is...
If the match might be great. This might be Nyla's coming out party.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It just...
I'm going to reserve judgment. If the match is meh at best, then it was kind of token. Like, I mean,
I'm
still playing wait and see with their women's division because it's kind of like, oh, there's a lot of potential if.
I'm just kind of in kind of that like the women's division compared to the men's. You put Chris Jericho in there right off the bat, and you're like, okay, yes. With the women's division, you would think
Kong's the closest you can.
Kong or at least Britt Baker.
Right. Not
you know what I mean?
Power, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Not same star power, but like you have at least here's the best.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or Aja Kong and Britt Baker. You kind of.
Right.
On one hand, you at least had one of the best men on the roster. I don't feel like I'm seeing the two best women on the roster right now.
That's fair. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I was shocked that Britt Baker wasn't going to be in the match. It seemed like kind of random the way they did it. They were just like, hey, this random Joshi match is going to be one half, and the other half is going to be
this battle
royal. And it's like, all right,
not
how I would have done. I mean, your tag teams, you got this big tournament. You
can't help but wonder had whatever happened with Kylie Ray not happened, because at the press conference it was Kylie Ray and Nyla confronting each other.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I wonder if
that wasn't
possibly that was the plan, was to have Nyla versus Kylie Ray.
That would make sense, because if you're going to replace Smiley Kylie with somebody, it might as well be little tiny girl, Rio.
Funny, she came back to wrestling, so I don't this week, so I don't know what's going on with her or what's going on with that situation. I'm not going to speculate. It's not my place to speculate. If Jericho's team loses, it will be one of the legs eating the pin. Yeah, I know you can't have your world champion lose, but I feel like it'd be way too... The way they tried to make LAX seem like a big deal, I feel like maybe they shouldn't lose right away, but you never know. I would not mind seeing one of the Bucks lose to Chris Jericho, just to kind of, That way you're not completely... I'm all for Kenny kind of downward spiraling and then coming back up. But that way you kind of... Well, of course, a tag team specialist lost when he got isolated by the world's champion in singles. You know what I mean?
Apparently Hangman Page is fighting Pac again?
I'm going Pac in this one.
Ooh, you think Pac's going to shut him out again, huh?
Yes. I think Pac should be their... He should be their monster. And not the monster in terms of he could be this unstoppable force, but he could be everything that the unstoppable force has never been in wrestling.
Fair enough.
And you could believe it. So that's what I kind of hope happens.
Yeah, I mean, if Hangman wins, then you're basically just doing the 50-50 thing. Yeah, sure, why not, Pac. MJF versus Brandon Cutler.
MJF.
It's gonna be MJF.
This is the match that got Joe Manganiello, or however you say his name, all trying to call MJF out. So, did you hear about that story?
Mm-mm. Oh yeah. The D&D thing. Yeah. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. He's like, oh, I do. Yeah. Because Brandon Cutler is all about it.
Yeah.
Literally got dice on his tights and everything. Yeah. Why don't you play D&D, MJF? It's fun. Anyway, yeah, MJF's gonna win this one.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. And that's all the things they have announced. They figure Moxley will be out there in some form or fashion. Blah blah blah. But LAX is a speculation.
LAX is speculation. Part of me wants to think that it's too obvious.
I understand that.
You know, and part of me also wants to hold out hope that they, similar to the debut edition of the last wrestling show that premiered on TNT, they pulled a big debut out. But maybe by keeping my expectations where they are, you're not let down by the craziness not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I believe that's the show this week.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you everyone for participating in the chat. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, give it a share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of professional wrestling, but from the world of comic books, anime, gaming, and all things geek culture. Go like my social media pages. Go like my Facebook page at facebook.com/athleticgeek89. Go follow me on Twitter at athletic_geek89. Go follow me on Instagram at athleticgeek89. And also on all my social medias, be sure to enter my giveaway. Fill out your AEW tag title bracket.
Yes.
The most correct bracket will be...
You still got time.
You still got time. You got until the debut of AEW on TNT.
Wednesday.
AEW Wednesday Dynamite. Most correct bracket will get a $25 Hulu gift card, a random action figure from my collection, and a random comic book from my collection. So be sure to enter that and fill out all the matches, and yeah, be like a March Madness bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Jedi, no social media, ain't got time for that. But if you have a question for him, just tweet at me or
concern.
Comment. Anything of that nature.
Tips.
Yeah. But for Jay, Jason Kruger, I am the Athletic Geek. We are just two marks. We're out. Have a good one.
Peace out, internet. Get some sleep.